and welcome to Tribe Chat. My name is Amber Okolo-Ebube, and I am the owner and operator and founder of Leading Little Arrows. And we are a collective of moms and dad and home educators, and we all have the same goal. That is to provide... I don't know what my brain just went... My goal. My goal is to provide rest and rejuvenation to the stressed out, overworked, and overwhelmed homeschooling parent. Guys, I hope you like these videos, because behind the scenes, if you could see things that happen. So anyways, I want to talk to you guys about something that is very, very important and almost, I would say, like a life passion of mine. And we've actually paused our normal tips and tricks and talking points regarding homeschool to talk about mental health. And this is our last video in this series. So we've talked about ways that you can decompress, still make sure you have some self-care, finding a community. But today I want to talk about seeking additional support, whether that be a pastor or a healthcare provider or mental health provider. It may become necessary. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. And when planning your lessons, think about this. When you plan your lessons for your kids, or you're trying to find the best extracurricular activities, whether that's soccer or dance or theater, you spend hours going through websites, talking to your friends, going through reviews. You put in a little bit of time to make sure that everything's good to go. You stand up for your kids beyond what others may even think is rational or even fair. Now let's think about this. In light of all this, you need to devote just as much energy towards yourself. My inner Dallas is about to come out. My Dallas, I grew up in the city. So let me tell you, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy with yourself. Do it for yourself. For some reason, especially in the homeschooling community, we take on this, I don't want to say toxic, because I feel like toxic is a word that's being overused a lot lately, and it's kind of starting to become annoying, but a unhealthy viewpoint that we have to do everything ourselves, and that we have to be perfect, and we have to prove to everybody that we are not making a mistake by homeschooling our children and not doing what the norm does. That's not healthy. That is not a good thought pattern. If you're doing something in your life and you're making decisions and governing what you're doing in your household based off of the opinions of people who honestly don't even matter if they're not inside of your home, it's not healthy. So you're probably like, okay, Amber, but you've been doing this lifestyle for over a decade. You're still in it. I know you had to have been sad, guys, but you're fine. Guys, I have had in this lifestyle, in life, I've had some of the highest highs and the lowest lows. In fact, we all know I have 5 kids, and if you don't, I have 5 children. And before my oldest moved in with us, I had 3 children who were 3 and under, and I had 1 on the way. And my husband was not working from home, and we had 1 car. And we were poor. And by the graciousness of God, my husband's coworker would, a lot of times, most of the times, would pick him up and take him to work and then bring him back home. On the days when his coworker could not, I had to load up all the children and my pregnant behind, get us in the car early in the morning, take an over 20-minute commute. Generous. I'm being very generous. Probably a little bit more if you factor in rush hour traffic. So over 20-minute commute there and then drive back. And at the time, my daughter, who has a special needs diagnosis, she was going, either someone was coming into our home or we were going somewhere else five times a week. Sometimes we were doubling up 2 or 3 people in a day. She was not walking, so I had to carry her, as well as another child that wasn't walking. She was biting. It was a lot. It was a very hard time. I remember being in the fetal position, crying, sobbing, being like, I can't do this. My husband will get calls and I'm having panic attacks because it's just so much. It's so much pressure. And my baby was high risk that I was pregnant with. And he was born a month early. Very, very healthy boy. He was tiny, but I'm telling you, if you meet this child, what he lacked in weight, he made up in personality. Like, this kid has the biggest personality, and he's actually taller than his older brother. So that, go figure. So I can imagine if he was born at at term. So he is an angel. However, I remember 4 kids now, 4 and under, being really sad and having self-harming thoughts of like, if it wasn't for my children needing me, if it wasn't for my child needing me and me being the vault of all of her diagnoses and therapies, I would not want to be on this planet. And that very thought scared me. I mean, I was mean to my husband. He felt hopeless. I finally was like, I'm depressed. And I reached out to my pastor's wife, who had a journey where she overcame depression. She almost committed suicide. And she helped me. We sat down, we had lunch. I would text her. She would send me scriptures. She would give me like tools. And I just remember one day texting her and being like, one day without any sad thoughts. And then that one day turned into 2 days, and 2 days turned into a week, and then a week turned into a month. And then one day it was a year, and now it's 9 years without any type of depression. I'm not saying I don't get sad. I've had sad moments, but I've had tools, and I've gotten into some wonderful communities. My husband and I give back to those who are suffering from mental health issues, and we help marriages and help people with trauma. It's wonderful. But I had to do my own work. I had to get on medication. Not on it now, but I had to. And here's the thing, as I continued on my journey of healing myself, and I started realizing how my past traumas that I thought I was over were affecting my marriage and creeping into my parenting, where it was stunting my confidence in my abilities as a mom and as a wife. And so had to continue to do some self-work. And here's the thing, as a parent, it is imperative, I would say life or death, that you become emotionally intelligent. Your children need you to be able to process your own triggers, to be able to process your own things, to be able to understand what thought patterns that you may have created at 4 years old to keep yourself safe no longer serve you and are now hindering you as a 40, 30, 20-something year old parent, woman, man, whatever. If it's necessary, which I say it probably is, everyone needs an outside party, seek out a therapist, seek out a pastor, seek out a life coach. Managing negative emotions and avoiding conflict can seem like it's impossible at times. And here's the thing, don't be embarrassed about asking for help if you need. I just talked about that earlier. We have this misconception that we have to have a stupid super parent cape on our back and do all the things and be all the things and be everyone to everybody, and then we forget about ourselves. It's not serving you. It's not serving your family. It's not letting you have a good, peaceful, productive homeschool. It's stunting your growth. It's stunting your children's growth. Take a moment to get the tools that you need in your toolbox so that you can move forward in a way that's not feeling like you're clawing yourself to the end of the day. I felt like that. That's a lot. That's a lot to carry, and it's not fair to you. You don't deserve that. The process of talking to an outside professional about your issues, I said it before, it should be normalized. You deserve to take time out for your emotional healing. We need to normalize this, guys. We need to stop walking around like we're perfect and like we're super homeschooler, because we're not. We all have struggles. This is why I paused everything for this series. It's important. It's literally life or death. People are unaliving themselves because they don't feel hope, because it's not normalized, because we're not checking on each other, and we're not checking on our mental health. We're not going into people and finding that help that we need. We need to do that, guys. There's nothing wrong with it. This was the last one, the last point, the last video. I saved it for last so that I could do my internet plea for you. If you need help, if you are overwhelmed, reach out to somebody. Reach out to me. Reach out to a friend that you can trust. Reach out to a pastor, or go call up a therapist. There's free services, mental health services. Don't let money or anything like that be a hindrance. Like I said before, we get in these thought patterns that we think are true, but sometimes we need an outside perspective to say, hey, have you thought about it from another angle? Maybe your past experiences has you thinking this way, but have you thought about it from this way? Okay, guys, I'm off my soapbox. Thank you for tuning in to this very important, very special series. We're going back to our regularly scheduled program. I cannot wait to give you guys more tips and tricks. Have a great holiday season. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye.